9:15 here on the morning show with Jeff and Will, AM 1700 WRCR Haverstraw and WRCR.com. Welcome back. And right now we welcome in Tina Traster. She is the founder, editor, and the one that keeps it running over at rcbizjournal.com. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
I am fine. How is everybody over there?
We're doing well, thank you. What's going on in the business world here in Rockland?
Well, we're going to talk about two stories, both that have to do with development. Housing development is something we need, although neither deals with the affordable housing problem. That said, let's start with.
Hey Tina, before you go on, if you don't mind, or if you're on a speakerphone, could you move closer to it or something? It's harder. It's a little bit hard to hear. You sound like you're far away.
The reception right now is rather poor. I'm not sure why.
All right.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yeah, but it sounds like you're distant from your phone itself.
Hold on a second. Is that any better?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me better now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, there's Letchworth property is both on former Letchworth Village is both on the Haverstraw side and the Stony Point side. Nothing is happening on the Stony Point side. Don't know if it ever will. But on the Haverstraw side, what is slated to happen on a portion of that property is a project from a New Jersey company called BNE that is proposing to build 300 units of luxury apartments. And to date, and this is on 23 of the acres or so.
Which is like a fraction of it. That's a fraction of it.
Yeah, that is a fraction.
Yeah.
Okay. So the company has secured a raft of benefits recently after it was declared by the town of Haverstraw to be the only qualified and eligible sponsor, to develop the property under Haverstraw's urban renewal plan. Now, I know that all sounds like a lot of words, but what this meant was that this developer was given the exclusive right to develop this property under something called the Urban Renewal Plan. Now, the original Urban Renewal Plan had many years ago designated a now defunct company to develop a pedestrian-friendly community there on the entire property. But that company went under in 2008, and the property's been sitting vacant ever since. That was the housing market crash, and it's, as we know, these Letchworth properties are just very difficult to redevelop. Okay, fast forward, and an amendment to the plan came about. Now we're talking about the Urban Renewal Plan. An amendment came about last September when a resolution was put to the Haverstraw Town Board by Howard Phillips that said, and I quote, "For over 15 years, the town has not been able to identify another developer for all or part of Letchworth Village," end quote. That was on a resolution, which the town board then unanimously passed, based on the representation that BNE was the sole qualified and eligible sponsor, and that no other potentially qualified developer had come to the table. So that was the representation. The problem is, and the subject of a complaint to the New York State Attorney General's office that we have obtained, is that the statement about being unable to identify another developer for more than 15 years is not true, according to the complaint. In the months before that September meeting that Mr. Phillips and the town attorney had with BNE, another experienced developer based out of Westchester had also met with Howard Phillips and town staff and the council and had a different plan, and one that would have had much more coverage. In fact, this developer, according to the documents, had made several offers to purchase the Letchworth property and to undertake this original pedestrian-friendly village. I think more similar to what was originally envisioned. So when the resolution for the amendment was presented to the town and the public, there was no mention of this other developer. And BNE was, slid over to home base and was able to simply be the sponsor under the urban renewal plan. Now, we asked the town attorney, Haverstraw town attorney Bill Stein, about this, and he wrote back to us, quote, it is the town's position that over the 15-year period, no other developer besides BNE presented a plan that met or even exceeded the town's vision for development and use of the property, who had the experience, expertise, and financial backing to construct the project. That, seemingly, according to the complaint to the Attorney General's office, is a misrepresentation. And so we will have to see whether the Attorney General pursues this complaint that was given to us, and to see what, if anything, BNE or the IDA will do, knowing that the amendment to the urban renewal plan came about under false pretenses. So this is sort of a big deal, and we'll just have to kind of gauge it and keep watching it and see what happens. But that is one story that I wanted to let the Rockland County public know about. Any questions, or I shall move on to another housing development. No,
let's see what else is going on in the world of housing developments.
Okay, all right. Well, so moving forward is the we all may remember the Camp Champion that later became Camp Merrick-Dean over on
West Nyack Road, West Clarkstown Road, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, West Clarkstown Road. So Gabe Alexander, developer whose name, if you're following Rockland County Business Journal by now, you will know, because he has snapped up a lot of property and done a lot of projects in the county. He bought this property some time ago, not that long ago, in 2022 for $3.35 million. This is a nearly 10-acre parcel, and it is at 175 West Clarkstown Road. You know, another camp. We're seeing camps, and we're seeing there are even some bungalow colonies, and they're all basically being, raised and redeveloped. This is no different. This is going to come before Clarkstown. This is pretty much an as-of-right kind of project in that Gabe Alexander is planning to do senior housing, 55 and older, and I don't think he has to. He has a senior housing is allowed by special permit, so I can see where this project probably won't have too many speed bumps. However, the bigger picture here is, according to those who live in and around and on West Clarkstown Road, is that the road is virtually under assault from countless developments, or proposed developments, all at the same time. And so even the planning board has suggested that perhaps it's time to take a more critical look at the traffic along that road and in that corridor, because what happens is these projects, they come one by one to the planning board, and they're sort of looked at in a vacuum. But I think there's some recognition that you have to look at a project sometimes in the totality of its impact to the road and the region. And I think that that is this project, one of a string of projects along West Clarkstown Road, is kind of bringing this to a height, or bringing this to shedding more light on the fact that it raises the question of how much more traffic can a road handle. In a critical assessment by the Rockland County Highway Department, because the Highway Department weighs in on projects like this, the engineer there called West Clarkstown. It said the average daily traffic on West Clarkstown Road is increasing every year, and it's heavy. It's often heavy and congested. And he concluded that the quote, this is in our story, the proposed senior housing facility would further impact the traffic conditions in the area, and suggested the road needs to be improved with consideration to adding a left turn lane on West Clarkstown Road at the driveway to promote traffic safety and keep up some level of service. I don't know if that's the fix that's needed, but I think we're seeing this problem of increased traffic and increased truck traffic throughout the county, and it's really being felt. And I guess it just needs it needs more attention by the planning board and traffic consultants. Interestingly, back in January, the Clarkstown Planning Board chairman said that when it comes to, he said he instructed the members of the Clarkstown TAC meeting to pay particular attention to traffic issues. But he also called for, and I don't know that this went anywhere, the town to hire a new traffic firm to lend, I think he said, a fresh pair of eyes to the issue. And he said, maybe the town should look at hiring a different traffic consultant. I have nothing against AKRF, but it's the same person looking at all the sites on the road. And, I think it was a really sound suggestion that perhaps, it's just such a kind of baked-in routine that goes on, and it just seems that on many roads and in many areas of the town, in Clarkstown, there's a real problem with just this increase in traffic. So those are two developments that people should be looking at and following. What else? Any questions?
Nope, but I see
comments.
That champion has been pretty quiet for a long time. It would be interesting to see something there. Development is development. You're always going to find crowds go where crowds go and where things are needed. We hear both sides of that coin. We need more senior housing. We need to take care of our seniors, yet we want to still be a farmland and rural community like we were 65 years ago. I mean, we can't have both at the same time. And so, all of that has to kind of work itself out amongst itself and supply everybody with as much as you can. You can't please everybody all the time, but, you can't you got to move forward at some point.
Yeah, it's we also wrote, this is also Gabe Alexander, by the way, we also wrote about the Oak Tree Lane Apartments in Haverstraw, where they're going to slate a 228-unit residential development, another housing development that has secured IDA benefits.
And because we're running out of time, we'll talk about that more next week when you're here back on Monday at 9:15.
Okay.
Thanks, Tina. We appreciate it. You and your family have a great Thanksgiving holiday, of course.
Okay, great Thanksgiving to everybody in the county.